Hey everybody, this is Whoopie Wump again, and I'm here with the fellows you may have watched last night, Marcus and Victor. We're just going to be going over some submissions. They started the European Paintisodes last night, and they're also probably going to be do some submission critiquing sometimes if they choose to. But I thought I would get them on here, and then since we couldn't do the end of the month submissions, I'm going to go over some progress submissions with them and give our thoughts on how they're doing or what's going on or how they can progress and stuff like that. So the whole time I'm going to have the Q&A up. So if you guys want, ask any questions at all. And I will be watching this like a hawk. So there we are. And if you guys want to introduce yourself real quick while I'm getting this started, I guess people should know you by now, but just in case,
Hi, and hello, this is Victor Case. I am also part of the PMP and mainly see me painting Warhammer 40k. I hope this month you will see some fantasy also from my side.
Yeah, and hello, Marcus here from Sweden, and again, some putrid Blight Kings on the table. Let's get it on.
Yeah, Marcus was with us until 7 a.m. yesterday for Sweden time, so he's a trooper. He pulled through. So good on you, man.
Yeah, I got maybe like 5 hours of sleep, so I'm all good.
Yeah, all you need is 4, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's go ahead and get this screen share going. Going into a tunnel. All right. So, one of the newest submissions, and I thought this was pretty cool, coming from a conversion from Minorum. Normally, it's not the conversion type, so this is kind of a new go for him, but I like it. And I wasn't expecting the guy to be riding a horse, to be honest. I was like, whoa, that's a strong horse, man. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, totally. I feel like poor horse.
Yeah, this was my first comment as well.
Yeah, it seems like the horse should be crumbling under the weight. I just assume it's a very well-trained horse.
Yeah, but for me it feels like weird if that guy will be like a man-eater and will be the only guy riding.
Oh, if you only had one of them on it?
Yeah, precisely.
I guess all man-eaters are different, right? That's kind of their shtick.
Yeah, fair enough, but still, that guy would be on a horse. I would rather see an ogre knight on foot than on a horse.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
But I like how he did it.
Yeah, I see the next ogre with this baby toy that is just a rod with a horse head on the end.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be better.
I was thinking, what is this? Is this just a random vulture, or
It looks like it's the vulture from the Screaming Skull catapult box.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Very smooth work. Obviously, it's a work in progress. This is gonna be a little thing, but this hair in the back is very well done, Mitt. I gotta admit, you got a nice ponytail going, and it's a nice conversion. Do you guys have any critiques before we move on?
No.
I think it's a fun conversion. It's very fun. For me, it was hilarious to see that.
It's a good one.
All right, to the next one. Let's see what we got. Oh, Blight Kings. So this is what you finished last night?
Yeah, precisely.
Right on.
The armor is pretty much done, just decay and corrosive stuff and the skin, basically. So all the fun stuff is left, basically.
The detailing and the blood
Yeah.
and all that good stuff.
All that, yes. So yeah, not really something to get over for me, but If you guys wanna say something about it, be my guest. Otherwise, it will probably be done within the 2 weeks.
Do you have anything to say about it, Victor? I think it's since we saw the last ones, I think I have a pretty good idea how they're going to turn out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see the full. You say that you are going to have 10 at the end, eh? So I'm looking forward to see them 10 together.
yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have to take a picture of them in battle, man.
Yeah. I just gonna try to find a game.
Just one curiosity, the kit. Did you manage to make all 10 completely different?
Yeah. When you buy the box, it's 11 different torsos, so you can actually make 11 different Blight Kings. And I used a special character, Mr. Gutrop Spume, as the 11th guy. So if I were to get one more box, I could actually have one more unique guy. So it's actually really fun to paint them, as it feels like you're painting a special character, since yeah, it's not the same guy all over again, basically.
This is great.
That's neat. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah, it's the only thing is like the feet sometimes get doubled, but yeah, what can you do?
All right, so moving on to Skip, the Warhammer geek now. Skip got some new dice, and looks like he's starting to paint his characters for the Dark Elves. He stated on here, so we can address it a little bit. He said, here's the shade I was thinking of. He's trying to find a good skin tone for Dark Elves. Every time I think I take a step forward, I take 2 step backs. So there's a couple comments saying, because he's been having trouble kind of putting on the paint too hard, and he's looking for a good skin color for Dark Elves. Do you guys have any opinions on those? Victor, if you want to start.
Well, yeah, I guess he's looking for a pale color or pale skin. It's quite tricky, this type of colors. They are, depending who you want to go, you can start with a very light flesh colors. If then you will have like a pinkish. So flesh tones. If you go for very pale, then you have to start with a very light violet. Or you can also use as a base Racar flesh, that is like a, I don't know if you know the color, but it's like a cream color that then you highlight with white. But it's a tricky color to have, and it depends a lot what is the tonality that you want to get at the end.
Okay, so were you saying if depending on if you want it to be darker looking, you start off with a darker shade, and if you want it to be lighter, you start off with a lighter shade, and then build up from there, and then you name the colors to go from there, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, that's sound advice. I agree with that too. I think the starting color definitely affects the outcome. It looks like he primered it black, and so when you're doing a lighter shade like he did here, it's a lot easier to end up filling in cracks and all that when you're trying to make it a brighter color. Skip, I would think about maybe starting with something, maybe like a white primer, if you want to go that route. If you want it to be darker, I would just try to do a darker skin tone. And as far as thinning the paints, there's a couple ways you can do it. Me, I do a lot of washes so it doesn't build up. Sometimes that's easier said than done, but water definitely helps thin it out. And especially with metal pieces, you got to be wary of that. What are your suggestions, Victor? And then we'll go on to Marcus for ways to thin your paint as you're applying it.
Well, I guess he started with dark prime or black prime because it's a dark elf, and then the rest is quite dark. If you have dark prime, I will use a base color from Citadel or a color that maybe is not the skin tone, but is a color that you use as a base to paint then on top. Normally I use like Rakar Flesh or Usbati Bone as a base when I want to go very light. And then, yeah, I think the best way is to do very light washes, and then you have to create your own washes using a medium. So you can start, for example, with white and start doing washes with with the skin tone that you want to go. For example, you can use greenish color or purplish color or a little bit of flesh, darker flesh, but then you thin down with medium, and then you do washes if you want very smooth transitions.
Okay, absolutely. And Marcus, if you could you look at the Q&A, just since I can't look at it since I'm doing the screen share, just in case anyone asked anything?
Yeah, at the moment, no questions. So if someone is watching, feel free to ask any question at any time, and we will look at them. And about filling the paints, I do rather yeah, I rather do a lot of thin coats than one, and rather rush with a thick one to so I don't have to like feel like I'm filling the gaps and the details on it. So take it the time to actually, yeah, let the paint dry before you applying the next coat. And about the shades, if you want to go for a really light tone, use Lamian medium to thin the shades down, and not with water, since the shades lose their properties and become real gruesome and messy. So if you're want to still go for the nice shades that the citadel will have, use Lamian medium, like a 50-50 mix. That's what I'm doing when I want to keep the skin real pale on my Blight Kings and still get some details popping.
That's a great suggestion. I also think that it seems the type of brush you're using, I don't know if he maybe is using a bigger brush and applying more paint, but maybe just do like a double side wipe on the side of your paint to get off that excess paint, and then don't try to fill in the cracks. That'll help you in the long run, I would think, and that way the paints are going to be building up in those tiny seams, which you can see in the eyes and the lips and these seams here. When you brush over it, you just kind of let it glide over those areas, and it should just apply itself to the ridges, so you don't have to worry about getting into the indented spaces, if you will.
Yeah, precisely. If you're gonna use a black undercoat, you don't have to fill the gaps with the black paints later. If you
Exactly. And that's one of the benefits of having a black undercoat.
Yeah, it's more forgiving, the black undercoat.
Absolutely.
Once you go black,
you never come back. But, any other comments before I move on to the next one?
no, all good. All good.
Okay. So going down to Wahoo Warrior. Let's see here. Just making sure that I don't have any comments. Okay. So these are what he's working on, and this is a man after my heart. These look very good. I guess I don't see how they're work in progress. They look pretty finished to me.
Yeah, I think the work in progress is actually the base flocking.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. He's just trying to base his whole army. I gotcha. I remember that. I love the work he did with the metal. Very, very good highlighting. Looks like he highlighted the gold with some silver and started out with bronze on the gold, because one thing you figured out is gold is not actually gold. Using gold on bronze as a highlight is a good way to get a good gold, true gold look, I would say.
Yeah, totally.
Any thoughts, Victor?
No, I think I like a lot the finishing of these armors. I think that he did very well the metal.
I agree. Do you think this is non-metallic metallics going on, or is it just hard blue?
I think it's blue.
Okay. I didn't know if he did like a metallic blue without making it metallic, but
I get
yeah,
ultramarine feeling on that guy.
yeah. I was thinking the same thing.
If you see here, the gyrocopter is also blue. I guess he's using blue in parts of the army.
It's a very nice accent, and blue and green, they're working well together, especially since the green's a lighter tone, so I could see them working in unison. He's got his beards down to a T. Those are one of the things, like, you gotta figure out how to do beards if you're gonna be doing dwarves. But very good looking stuff. Very good looking stuff. Okay, let's go down. All right, here's Alicia's stuff she was working on. These are clean.
Yeah, they are.
There's not much to critique on. It looks very good. What are your suggestions, guys? I know I went in and cleaned up a few of my old pieces, but how do you guys keep it from getting grainy looking? Or if it gets grainy looking, how do you smooth it out? Like an example, I know this is just because it's up close, but you know that kind of grain, you know, how do you prevent that?
Yeah, I will probably say just taking it really slow when I paint and be really careful so it doesn't grain at all. Don't do the same stroke twice, basically.
Okay. Victor, any insight or knowledge on that, or why it does that?
I guess first I never use or I hardly use dry brush. Normally I don't, because this creates a lot this effect. And I try to work more with washes, and so I do go very light and then I go darker with the washes. The other way is try to blend the color at the end. So sometimes I don't let the previous layer to dry, and I just do the highlight on top.
Okay, so you're saying if you did do a dry brush, you would go in afterwards and kind of even it out with like a wet blend, or
yeah, you need to. Yeah, if you do dry brush, or even when you do washes, I always say that I have to clean then what I did before. So because dry brush is quite, I think it's quite. I don't know how to say. It's quite rough highlight. So then you need to clean it. So you need to then to go with the color that you did the dry brush and just define very well what you wanted to highlight.
That is some very sound advice. I've noticed that a lot in my old pieces and pictures where I went in and I'm like, this is so grainy. I have to go back and redo this. Another way that happens too, I think, is if you don't have a good, as Kieran would say, like a water consistency on your brush when you're applying the paint. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, if the paint is too thick, you also have issues to apply uniform layers.
Okay, so that's nothing against this model. This is a very well applied model. I know people were asking about that before, and I've had some troubles with it, so I was just using this as an example. But I love how smooth the skin is. That's very well highlighted and colored. It's not a full white. It's kind of a grayish brown, so it has a very organic feeling to it. The hairs and even the details on the beads, it's just very nice touches. And how smooth this bronze is, it's a great looking piece.
Yeah, the leather oils like a lot. The leather on the horse. And this, I remember this one, the one that you were showing.
Oh yeah.
The metal on the metallic on the. I like all of this how she did here the metallics.
So how would you do this? I've had ways where I did this where I would just do like silver, and then I would do a very kind of watery wash of the color that I would want over the top of it, and then that way it would be kind of iridescent or transparent, so you could see the reflection from the metallics below? Or would you suggest just highlighting it with the silver?
I will do, as you mentioned before, a silver and then do thin washes of the green or the reddish color.
Okay.
We can,
Any thought?
we can ask her to know how she did.
Very true. Yeah, if you're watching, Alicia, comment on that. How'd you do that? What are your thoughts, Marcus?
Yeah, I think I would, in the shade, I would mix in some lead belcher to get the metallic feel of the model.
So you like mixing the paints together then to get the look
Yeah,
you're going for?
I'm more of a mixer, really.
Okay, I do that same thing, so nothing wrong with that. Those are both completely good ways to do that. Let's see if she has any. There's a lighter.
My palette hates me about it.
Yeah, Victor has a good video about using a wet palette that we can go over in later video, but those help with that, definitely, when you're mixing colors.
Yeah.
One thing I love is these highlights she did on the flag, just very good attention to detail.
Yeah.
Just good work.
Yeah, the work on this shield is also nice, eh?
Yeah, that's great looking. I was going to say, with the dry brushing, to get that grainy effect, and if you sometimes do that on weapons, it gives a good kind of tarnished effect. And that's one example where you could use that to your advantage. But this just looks so good from far away. The clean model. Very, very good model.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Looks like we got Andy Mack, avid fan and friend of the channel. He's got a big horde of high elves pointy heads that he's doing. Are these decals?
I can't tell, but yeah, they probably are decals.
I would. Go ahead.
No, but if they are not decals, great work. But I think they are decals.
I could see that, because that'd be very hard to do that. I'm just thinking, wow, that's very straight.
There, yeah, to do this circle there is very hard if it's a freehand, and make it consistently in all the banners and shields.
Absolutely, absolutely. One thing I've noticed that I appreciate, very bold, bright colors. It's very clean looking. He has the metallic blue on here, but you can tell that he started out with a normal metallic, since this is a progression piece. And that's an example of using the, I'm guessing he probably used a blue wash over the metallics to give it that kind of look. So that's a good example of what we were talking about, adding the a very thin layer to make it kind of transparent so the metallics show through. I'm guessing that's how he did it. If he did something else, more than welcome to straighten me out, Andy. But it also looks like he didn't go with a full gold on this either. He's going with the same thing that the dwarf player, that Wahoo Warrior did. He highlighted it, the bronze, up with some gold and some silver to give it some more dimension. He has some more pictures of these later on in the end of the month's missions, and I think it's a great looking unit. Any observations or things you guys would want to point out?
No, they're just solid high elves.
All right.
Yeah.
Up here's another picture. Those pointy hats. All right. So, Victor, just start talking about it. I'm going to check the YouTube feed, see if we are live or not. Because we're not getting any questions in. Or is there any questions on the side?
I see no questions, and I've been going on and off for the Q&A.
Okay. Um, is there any way you can check the YouTube page maybe and see if there are any comments on there? Maybe.
Yeah, yes. 1 second.
Okay, I would. I just don't want to bring people through my screen. But yeah, what are your thoughts, Victor?
I think she did a great work here as well. I love a lot the white on the horse. I don't know if there is a side view of the white because it's hard to do a nice white on horses.
It says starting soon.
Starting soon. Huh.
Please stand by. Starting soon.
Okay, let me see here. Okay, keep talking about what you were talking about, Victor. I'm gonna see what's going on.
No, I think it's another very solid work from Alice, and I like a lot how she did the white on the horse. It's not easy to make a white with a good shading, and as well, I think she's using this type of white, or because the shield is like metallic on the edges, and it's green at the background. So I think it's a very good work as well.
I would agree with that. How do you do your white if you're going to do something like that?
It's like the to do pale skin and white is some of the hard things to do because especially when it's very organic like this horse. So you have to start with very light gray or very light bluish color and then start building up the color. And normally I try to do some white blending directly on the miniature. So to make the transition soft as possible. So white, I try to start with non-white and then finishing with white at the last layer. So I try to start with a color that is close, and depending what is the how to say, if you want like cold white, you start with some bluish color. If you want something different, you can start with a very light gray, or you can start also with a cream color like Usbatibone, and then you will have more warm white at the end.
Okay, I gotcha. How would you do white, Marcus?
Yeah, probably the same way, depending on which temperature of the model I was gonna go for. I would start either with a bluish or grayish base, or I even start sometimes with a red base, but we have to be cautious so it doesn't go pink.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
All right, I am setting it to Okay, it's saying it's live for me. Let's see here.
Yeah, in the screen it's live.
Yeah, on the screen it's live, but on YouTube it's starting soon.
Man, I hate Hangout sometimes.
And Caius said, "Hey guys, you're not live on YouTube, but view you through Google Hangout, so at least we got a viewer."
Woo! Thank you, Kai. All right. Yeah, if you have any questions, Kai, just go ahead and ask. We are doing questions. So if you guys have any at all, and if you're watching through the Google Plus, I guess, just go ahead and ask them. I'm trying to see why it's doing whatever. I'll do that after we're done with the show and figure out what
we're like halfway through anyway. Gosh,
so frustrating.
Yeah, don't tell me. I was 1 hour trying to connect yesterday.
I feel your pain. I feel like every time I get on Google Plus and try to figure out what's going on, there's something new that I didn't notice before. Just like but yeah.
I guess one thing that is very tricky with the Wood Elf, and if you have a green scheme, is how to make that is not boring. Know how to play with the different tonalities of the green. I think she's doing quite good job because you have the warm green that is highlighted with yellow, and then she also is playing with more cold green that have a bluish tonality.
Absolutely agree with that, because that's one of the hardest things. She differentiated the greens enough where you can tell them apart.
Yeah.
And she used a very organic, like you said, yellowish green for the floral things, and that separates it away from the cape look and the helmet look. And then the highlights with the silver that she did definitely separated the green away from these greens that she has going over here. It's very good looking. And I love how it's darker underneath here. That's a very nice little touch.
I really like the gem on the helmet and on the chest.
Yeah, those red gems are just kind of accenting it perfectly. And the wood she did here, that's very well highlighted. It's not, the white isn't too white, it's a type of brown. And this is an awesome little freehand swirl that she got.
Yeah.
So, not much else to say on it. I don't want to stay on that too long. So,
Kai asked, on a scale to 1 to awesome, how impressive is my beard? Awesome.
Is there 11? Does your beard go up to 11? That's what I would say. Looks like Mitt did some pistoliers. These are he's definitely picking up some techniques away from Alicia, and the good parts of it, with the texturing and stuff in the hairs, you can definitely tell. Very good precision work you got going on, Mitt. You're definitely growing as a painter and a hobbyist. I guess these are work in progress, so there's not really much to say. I think you're going in a good area right now. Is there any comments you guys wanted to make?
Listen to your wife.
You're a good watch.
I'm guessing that happens more than often. Well, here is a dryad presented by Nick Finsky. I like how ghoulish it is, and this is an example of brush applied highlights opposed to dry brushing. You can tell because it's not granulated, if you will. It makes it a little more precise, and that just takes some finesse, and you end up building that over time as you're growing as an artist. But very simple color scheme, and it's working for him. It looks pretty good. I like it.
It also gets the semi-cartoony feel about it, which I like.
Yeah, that's a good point. It does kind of have an animated feel look to it, and it's that gray or white that he's using makes it look almost kind of haunted. It's very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and this type of highlights works very well on tabletop once the army is assembled.
Oh, it does look very good. It takes finesse and just movements. You got to have a little bit of patience with that and just kind of work through it. But it's one of those things. Once you get used to it, you can do it really fast, and with minimal effort, you can have tabletop ready stuff that looks great with those kind of highlights.
Yeah,
totally.
And Kai looks like he was doing the same thing we were talking about with gold. Just I love these retro models. I respect him for doing these. It's awesome. Someone was saying do brown for the gloves, and I was going to say do kind of like a white or a blue wash, and I didn't even see this. So he was already going to do that. So you read my mind, Kai. You read my mind. Do you guys have any comments on it?
No, they are solid high elf models. as the previous guy. It's it's not like they are similar. They are usually they are having a different techniques. I can see that, but I just like the models, the retro feel about him, and that he's fixating that the pointy ends on the helmet actually have a light point. It's
Yeah,
really well made.
it's very great metal highlighting. And with these old models, it takes very little to break the model, like to make it look bad, but it takes very little to also make it look great. And he added that extra time in to just highlight these gold areas and the gems, and those things really bring out these what could be very simple looking models and make them into something a bit more.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, everybody knows how I love these models.
Yeah, I remember you talking about them yesterday.
Yeah,
Um,
I think he's doing a very good job here.
I guess a question for him is, what kind of flock is he using?
Yeah.
Or what is he using for the gravel, I guess? It's very cool. It's very tiny. I like it.
Well, it looks like he could have just dry brushed the bases since they aren't all flat to begin with.
Oh, that could be. That could be true. Kai, if you're watching, comment on that. What is this? How would you do this? We must know.
What's the simple magic behind it?
I want your magic secrets. Andy Max doing some awesome work on his elves. It's like an elf month going on this month, isn't it?
Yeah,
Very
Yep,
good
wonderful,
highlighting.
guys.
Yeah, I don't like elves very much, but I like them painted well. This here, it's just very precise. I like these models. Very good models.
Yeah.
and making blonde hair is very difficult to have like a realistic blonde hair like here.
Absolutely, I've been working on that like crazy, trying to get that color down to the point where I've had to remove the paint on some models because it built up, and I was so frustrated. Just I need to get this blonde to work, but it's very precise and very realistic looking, and that's one thing I really like about it. Everything, even to the eyes, it's very pinpoint and very high definition. It's just very good looking, professional looking, I'd say.
Yeah,
Oh man, these are high resolution. Yeah, here's an example of the whole unit, and I don't know. There's not really much to critique here.
no, and maybe this is one of the high elves that I like. Is maybe one of the only units that I like from the high elf army.
Oh, these girls.
Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely really like those models too. It's when I first saw them, I thought it was kind of hokey that they had the heart, but to be honest, once they're painted up nice, you don't even notice that kind of crap.
No, it totally escaped my eyes until now. Thank you, Willie.
I don't even know who did this. We'll just skip over that. I don't even
Yeah,
do that. This crap. I don't know, some kind of turtle thing. Looks like MC1 Gamer is working on his converted models. Very interesting conversion on the Nagash. I like it. It turned out well in the end. It's one of those models that people are going to think you're crazy for trying to convert, but it came out very well in the end. I love the custom base that he ended up making. And these where using the direwolf heads on the bodies of the cryptors is a genius idea. That's a great idea.
Yeah,
I would have never thought of that. But he has a good gradient going from light to dark, and the highlights of the shadows from the ghouls going around him. It looks like, I don't know if it was intentional, but it looks like he was at least trying to follow that. Looking very good, Mitch. Good piece. You proved me wrong. I had my doubts about the conversion, and it turned out well. Any critiques from you guys?
I cannot criticize this one. I'm looking forward to see how it's finishing. But I think the starting and the work in progress looks so awesome. I like a lot the base he worked for this miniature.
Yeah, I think
the previous month that he was showing more details on the base.
Yeah, is that picture in the end of the month area, or is it?
I'm not sure, but it's.
I don't know.
Yeah, it has a lot of undeads crawling up beneath it, and it looks really good from all the sides. So I think it did an excellent job on making the base and converting the crypt horrors.
Here we go.
Yeah, it's a lot of movement on the piece. It's excellent.
Yeah, it's very dynamic and it's not overdone.
Yeah, there's a lot of nice details in this base.
And it does look like they're actually coming out of the ground. It's very cool. So, A+, MC. A+. Alright, back to the progress picks. So I think we're going to be reaching the point that okay, yeah, we can go over some of Nick's stuff that he's doing. Honestly, I don't know about you guys, but this looks fun as hell.
Yeah, I would love
Just,
to do
that. I want to build this. I just want to have fun with bits and plywood. This is very cool looking for Mordheim. I can't wait to see it fully finished. Nick is a very good idea man when it comes to converting models and doing terrain, I have to admit. Any thoughts, Vic?
I think he's doing an awesome job to use the bits and pieces of wood to make a very nice piece of terrain. Also, the building he was painting it's awesome.
Oh yeah, this. I saw him he started working on this last year, and I don't know if he added a second layer or not, but it looks great. It's a fantastic piece of work.
The pile of shields here is.
Oh yeah, the collection of shields. It's great. The wood, it's so realistic looking. That is so well detailed. I think Nick just took all of his frustration and just went into this building and made it look beautiful.
Yeah.
So good job, Nick. There's not really much I can say. I'm not a terrain guy, but you're kind of inspiring me to want to have a little bit more fun with that. Yeah. Besides that, looks like we have the banner guys. Evil Bunny. I like the Evil Bunny. I think that's hilarious. I'm not sure what he's using it for, but I would put that on one of my pieces. That's all I gotta say. Looks like, oh, here we go. So he actually has a finished model of this. There's the the other one he finished last month that was very good. What do you guys think of the conversion on this? It's confusing, but it's cool. There's something about it. What are your guys' thoughts?
I think it was a very good idea to use the vortex.
Yeah, the vortex of Earth coming up.
Yeah, it's the vortex from the Fulcrums, no? And I think, yeah, I like a lot the ideas the idea on the conversion. The conversion looks great. The work on the fire is also very good, and I think I like a lot this miniature.
Me too. Me too.
I was surprised that he was sanding also the vortex at the end.
Yeah, I was too. It turned out kind of cool how he made it like the Earth coming up with it and had some arms sprouting out of it. The things I guess I would suggest is, for some reason, the spear right here, something about that spear. I think it maybe disrupts the movement of the model, because you have this nice movement going, but maybe it's just the picture, but the spear kind of disrupts the movement. It's almost like too much or too little. Like if you're going to have that, you should have maybe something over here or over here to even out the dynamic of the piece. Or maybe if you had it in a unit with multiple things like this happening, because it's just kind of a giant brick right there that's taking your eye away from this beauty up here.
Yeah, I like the flames how he did it, and but it feels a bit chaotic for me. Like it's like he put all his paints and put them in a box, and then flipped the box, and these paints are the ones I'm gonna use. And then
Oh,
yeah,
you mean with the coloration?
yeah, the coloration. So
Oh, okay.
it feels like the purple is quite a cold color, and it doesn't feel like it would connect with the flames, and the green and the yellow and the bone. It feels like they doesn't complement each other. I like how he did it, but I think he should have going for more of similar colors. Like the hood and the bone is the same colors, but there are no bone colors on the actual back of the crypt horror
Okay,
back.
I see. I see what you're talking about. Yeah, one thing, people think I'm crazy when I say it, but I swear, dry brush yellow on it. If you dry brushed a little bit of yellow on those bumps and stuff, it would bring them out, and it would, if you dry brushed a little bit of yellow on the flames there, these are great looking flames. Don't change them. If anything, you don't really need to change them at all. But I would suggest doing a little bit of yellow highlighting so the tones do mix in with the bone a little bit more. And I don't know if he made the hood darker after he did after this. It might be in the end of the month's mission, but yeah, I can see where you're getting at, like separating the hood from the bone. But otherwise,
Yeah, I
he
like
has
the
a
model, but just the coloration nags me a bit on the side. But yeah,
otherwise he's shown. I guess it's one of those things. It's like I don't want to sound like we're being hard on him. He's obviously a very talented guy,
yeah,
and so that's where the critiques come in the most. Is like the more talented you are, the more critiques will help you or be said. But honestly, there's a lot of good stuff about this. The flames, very well done. I'm not good at doing dark flames. He did well on the pyre. The color on the sword is very cool, and these flames, the purple flames we were talking about, very good idea, and this vortex and just the conversions all together. It's a very good example of kit bashing, so I like where you're going with it, Tuna Sandwich Fi. These are just minor critiques that we're pointing out.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And if we seem too hard, it's probably because we are jealous.
Damn it, why do you have to be so good? And plus he has this in the background to kind of amplify it up. But yeah, I mean, really, the critiques are minor. Like I said, try doing some yellow, and then that'll at least blend it with make it seem like it fits with the bone. Because right now, the colors are just so powerful; they're separating each other. It's kind of taking eyes away from certain points in the model. But it looks very good.
Yeah, it could be the lightning as well from
Yeah,
while taking a photo.
could be a lighting, absolutely. But great conversion and a lot of examples of great painting. The chainmail and the highlighting the gold, the flames, the purples. It's just good stuff.
Absolutely.
Anything else, Victor?
No, for me the most surprising was the green. He used the green for the skin. Was the most surprising. I would not use green on that model, but it's more my concept of how I see this model.
Yeah, and if you do, maybe
I,
find a
I
way
think
to.
Yeah, I was thinking more on grays or something like that, or rock flesh, but this green is very strong green.
It has a Hulk kind of color palette to it, and like if you do use this green, you can add ways to make it look a little more organic, like you said, with the rotting flesh and stuff, to have it meld in with the color palette. And this is a work in progress, so he may have already done this, in which case disregard everything I'm saying, but or we're saying. But these are just our thoughts on what we have to look at. All right, moving on to the next one. Looks like we got some more Glade Riders. We'll look into those with Kieran. I don't want to focus. We've done a lot of Alicia googly eyeing on her stuff, so let's go on to someone else. Meek Shot. This is a very cool model. What model is it?
I have no idea.
Is this one of the White Dwarf special models?
I'm not sure.
I'm guessing. Because I know that in the past they used to do like a White Dwarf special model if you subscribe for 1 year.
Huh.
And I have a couple of them. I'm not sure if this is one of them.
It might be. It might be. I like the color palette he's using. I love the fact that it's a vampire slaying dwarf. That's pretty badass. He did a great job separating the. This was part of the base.
It's like he's doing the substrate on the, like it's being cut.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you can see the pavement and the gravel underneath. Very cool. It's almost like a rock embedded in a bunch of dirt. It's a very neat effect. Yeah, very, very cool model. And these, I don't know if it's the lighting, but I'm guessing that Meek Shop is talented enough to highlight this way, because that is some awesome subtle highlighting. That's something I have trouble with, and I feel like that's a good example of it. Maybe it's just the lighting. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah,
it's hard to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, either you go for the subtle highlights or you go for the edge highlights, and I think he really did a good job on the highlighting, because it doesn't pop, but it's there, so to speak.
Exactly. It's not too overdone. It's texturally sound, if you will.
Yeah, or we are completely wrong, and he hasn't made the highlights yet since it's a progress picture.
Watch, it's just the lighting. It very well maybe. Do you think it is, Victor, or do you think these are paint?
I'm not sure if it's.
Oh, yep, it was lighting.
Yeah, he's highlight, definitely. But
now I just feel like a douche.
Making pictures and judging from pictures is very tricky, because you don't know if some highlights are exaggerated by the light you use for the picture, or sometimes it's the other way around. So the flash is working, and then you kill all the highlights you did in the miniature because you overexpose with the light.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there is some highlighting going on, and it's subtle because you can kind of see it in there, and it's very bold red, which is really hard to do, and this black is very well done. That might seem minor to most people, but it's hard to make this look good without it being kind of like a turd in a punch bowl type red, you know? Red's hard to work with.
Red is a tricky color because very easily can go to pink or orange when you highlight.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So there is two ways to highlight: is mixing red with white, and we know that we go to pink then. Then it's quite tricky. And then if you use oranges, you have to be very careful that you don't end up being orange at the end. So this is quite tricky. Normally I start with very dark red when I try to paint red. And this is it's not that dark, so it's very tricky to do highlight without going to pinkish.
I agree. I used the corn red for it, I think it's called. and that's usually what I start on. Then I highlight from there with normal red, and that's the best way I can do red. But this looks like he just straight up started out with blood red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some more scenes, and this is sword. I mean, this model is great. Don't get me wrong. But that is very, very cool. That is very majestic and magical looking.
The wings are very nice as well.
Oh yeah, very, very well done wings. I'm trying to see if there's a better picture of the horse. I guess with this you can see the hawk kind of details he did in the wings.
Yeah.
That is really cool. That's very cool. It fits with the black color scheme. I love the Black Knight look he has going on. Just, he's a very, very good craftsman. I hope he watches this and it motivates him to put up some more stuff, because he's kind of fallen out of the loop as of late, probably with the winter and the holidays and all that fun stuff. But this is a great, great piece. I honestly want to hear a book about these two.
Yeah, and it feels like the sword using the techniques for the power weapons in 40K. Just the similar approaches, and it looks real well as a magical weapon.
I agree. It gives it that runic feel.
Yeah.
And that's really hard to pull off. So, any last words on those before I exit out?
No, I'm pretty much done.
Okay. Oh, there's a better example of... Yes, very well highlighted yellows and good stuff. See, this is why I love this site. Honestly, you guys inspire me through multiple ways. Just, it's literally motivating to see all this just posted on, and it just keeps coming up day to day to day. This is one of the reasons I love that. That I'm so happy that the PMP is sprouted off, and I'm so glad that you guys keep posting. It's become its own thing, and it's inspiring.
Yeah, we are just 80 people, I think.
Yeah, we got up to 80 full members now. We were a little bit higher, but a lot of people, I kind of went through and made sure that we had people that were only posting, and it ended up just straight up 80. Here's Kieran Dunleavy's sisters. Different kind of take on them. We might as well review them since we're not going to be doing them in the other show. If you guys want to review my stuff on the European PMP and you want to give me crap, go ahead. If you just want to crap all over it, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, I love the purple flame that he's got going on, and this is a very good example of finesse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To do something like that takes a lot of just patience and precision, and a lot of people wouldn't try to do that, but something that small can just make it's something so simple, but it makes it pop. And then this bead in the hair that he has going on, it's kind of like it's almost a dry gold. It's very organic looking, and the blonde he did is darker than the other one we saw, but it's still a very, very true dirty blonde. It's a very cool color scheme.
Yeah.
I like the temperature of the model, that is a warm model.
Absolutely. And this is something little, but doing the inside of the cape a different color and following with the darker areas, because you can tell in the darker spots he has it shadowed into a darker white. And he's not using a true white, he's using almost like a creamish white, which I think is the way to go, and then using the white on the highlights. It looks very good. And the eyes are so... Kieran's a perfectionist. Let's face it.
He's taking care of all the details on the miniature.
Yes, yeah, he's putting soul into it. But go ahead.
When you paint one for tabletop and you want to do all the details of the miniature, doing a couple of details, random details in the miniature, is helping a lot also to pop up the miniature at all. So if you want to go faster, you don't need to go to all the details, but it's good to do a couple of 3 details in each miniature, and because it's helping to give more personality to the miniatures.
Absolutely, very true. That's a good point. Doing something like that, it definitely breathes life and kind of the originality into it. It also, honestly, if this model looked like crap, ignoring, like, if he didn't do the eyes and the hair was kind of granulated and stuff, if this was still well done and the base the way it is with the corkboard, it would still draw your eye away from the negative aspects if it was, you know. So things like that can just make or break a model sometimes. I mean, even if he didn't do this, the detail on the eyes and everything else would draw your eyes somewhere else. So it works. It's interesting that he went with brown and making it a bit more leathery looking than going with a traditional, like, bright color scheme, but still, I like the temperature, like Marcus said, of the model.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really like that you get like the different model when you're watching from the back with the cape and everything. So it feels like it's a dynamic model, even though it's standing still. That if you spin it, you get a new effect, you get a new approach of the model, and it's really good looking for the eyes.
It has good, great movement in it.
Yeah.
Let's see if he. It's funny because that's just like one sister's.
Yeah, that sister didn't just take 1 hour, I bet.
Yeah, yeah. Or maybe it did. Maybe he just kind of has the ability to, like, shoot rainbow paints out of his fingers and just kind of do what's in his mind onto the model.
Yeah, if you have maple syrup for blood, I don't know, maybe.
These are the reasons I like the before pictures. You're able to see the base layer and where he was going with it without the highlights. I feel like these are important to show what he did to bring out the specific details in the model. And that's when I say before pictures, this is a great example. This one to the new one is a great example of why I suggest putting that up.
Yeah. I'm more of a rather uploading just progress picture instead of just now I'm gonna post up before picture since yeah, I don't know.
Oh, some guy did this.
Yeah.
So what is this color again? I'm gonna go out and buy that.
It's the Lilac Oxide technical color. I pronounce that totally wrong, but it's the blue technical color, and I just tap it into the corroding areas between the bronze and metal, and just sometimes just in the metal.
Yeah, I was talking with Nick Finsky about that, and it's a very good utility paint. It's great how it comes out with the rust looking. And there's a before. See, again, a good example of, this kind of answers it for us. He looks like a very, very thin kind of gravel.
Sand, beach sand, because beach, there are very thin beach sand that you can use for the base.
Okay.
Because I use it also sometimes.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, that looks good. This is a good example of befores and afters, I would say. And then I just want to show this in case you guys don't know who Victor is, the guy joining us today. This is an example of one of his works. So he knows what he's talking about. he he is very excellent work. There's a reason I made him co-owner as fast as I did. One thing I wanted to let's talk about some of casual stuff. We were talking about how his undead turkey is getting more recognition than his army itself. I think it's a very well converted army. It has a very cool feel to it. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
Well, I love all the conversion. I'm wondering how many from where are all these bits, but I think it's great. And also the skin of the ogres is it's matching very well with the theme.
Yeah, I love what he did with the skin of the raptors. It's very organic and realistic looking, I feel.
Yeah, his conversion doesn't feel out of place. It feels like the theme is working with the models.
Absolutely. And obviously he's a big dinosaur fan, so I'm guessing that kind of attributes as why he's so good at doing the details of this. But even the tongue and just the subtle black details, it looks like something you'd see directly out of a Jurassic Park movie or like a dinosaur documentary or something like that. Because even the underneath the body, he did a darker shade. So he's a very talented guy. It's sad that I feel like he's kind of overlooked at times, but you can definitely tell where his home's at.
Yeah, and I like that he escaped from the traditional greens on the Carousel.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Here's a cool. I guess I don't know if he finished it or not. He might be doing this anyways, but highlighting these areas with a little bit of brighter gold or silver, just doing the edges of them will really make them pop casually.
They look very Azteca looking, and it's what I like it. So I think the palette he using is great to give this sensation of, because for me Lustre is like the Aztec or Maya or Inca background with and I think he's taking this very well.
Very true. One thing I didn't notice: background drop. That's a good. There's only one other person I've seen use a background drop. So, good on you, Casually. Good on you. You're more than just an undead turkey, man. Let's just say that. Very great movement tray. I love the look of it. You can tell he just had fun with this.
Yeah, totally.
What is this? I know it's like a unit filler or like a monument, but what is that from?
No idea.
Yeah, no idea.
I like it. It's cool. Let's go through these real quick. Yeah, good work, Casually. I can't wait until they're finished. He apparently did his Mornfang with ogres riding carnosaurs, and I want to see that really bad. That sounds really, really cool. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, totally.
And I feel like we are now at the point where Kira and I went over this stuff.
Yeah, and we're 10 minutes above the
hour. So let me cancel the screen share here.